taking time out with PSOA. This week we have a weekly double. We covered pregame as our topic, and then today we're going to go over rule differences between NCAA basketball and National Federation High School basketball. You know, people have been watching college basketball now for 3 weeks with high school basketball starting. I just want us as officials to be on the same page, and those fans and coaches watching these training tapes will have an understanding of why the game may be called differently of what we see on TV versus what we see in high school gyms. So we're first going to go over rules, and then got a game lined up with some examples of these differences along with other learning points from a game used. With no further ado, the first rule difference is dunking before the game. JUCO basketball, the players cannot grasp the rim just like high school. NCAA Division III, Division II, Division I, and AIA, they can dunk before the game. But high school basketball, a player cannot grasp the rim unless it is to dunk the ball, or they can hang on the rim to prevent injury, whether that's them swinging back and forth. So if they were to let go right away, we don't want them going into a wall, or if there's a player underneath them at the moment. The main thing here is they cannot pull themselves up. But pregame, college, yes, you're going to see Creighton and Nebraska basketball players dunking before the game. High school, it is illegal. Held ball. All right. If we have a held ball before possession is gained during a jump ball to begin the game or extra period, the players involved in high school, so the two players who are jostling for that basketball, those two players are going to be part of that next jump ball to start the extra period or the game. We do not reset the clock. It was legally touched. So whatever the clock status is, it will remain the same time on the clock. But if you have a held ball before there's possession to begin the game or extra period, make sure those two players are the two that will be in the next jump ball. Backcourt violation. This is one that officials will be scrutinized quite a bit on because on TV we see the defense deflect it, and once that defense deflects it, anybody can go be the first one to touch it in the backcourt. Not in high school. All right, even if the defense deflected the basketball, if that basketball then goes off of the offensive player, and that offensive player or offensive teammate is the first one to touch it in the backcourt, we have a backcourt violation. All right, so officials, from a mechanic standpoint, if the offense was the last one to touch the basketball, do not give the tip signal. All right, that is our judgment, letting everybody know that the offense cannot be the first team to touch it in the backcourt. Now, if the defense was the last team to touch it in the front court and the ball goes back into the backcourt, once that ball goes into the backcourt, give the tip signal. That is our communication that anybody can be the first one to touch the basketball. Closely guarded. All right, so when an offensive player is in their front court and they're dribbling the basketball or holding the basketball, we should have a 5-second closely guarded count as long as they're within 6 feet, foot to foot. College, it's only when they're holding it. High school, it is also when they're dribbling it. The other difference is in high school, even if they switch defenders, as long as a defender remains within 6 feet continuously guarding that offensive player, that count continues. So high school, it has to be the same defender. In college, it has to be the same defender. High school, it's any defender. They can switch, and that count keeps on going. And I have this diagram here. What is 6 feet? All right, imagine the semicircle top free throw line. It's actually a lot larger area than most realize. They do not have to be in their grill and in their quote unquote cylinder to get that count. Within 6 feet. Shot clock. Not all high school has shot clock, but here in Nebraska we have Class B, Class A that are using the shot clock, and Class C, Class D with approval from the state. If both teams agree, they can be using the shot clock. So this, when we get into the video, a lot of rule differences between shot clock administration between college and high school, and we'll go through a bunch of examples. But it is 35 seconds in high school, not 30, and any action that causes a reset, the clock will always go to 35 seconds. All right, so it won't stay the same. It won't go to 20. Now, in the state of Nebraska only, so if you're watching this training tape, it is by state adoption. If your state adopts a kicked ball underneath 20 seconds, they could choose to reset it to 20 seconds. In Nebraska, if it's 25, it stays 25. If it's 18, we'll reset it to 20. But that is state by state. The overall NFHS rule is any action will reset the clock to 35 seconds. So make sure you talk to your leadership from state to state. Is that one exception in your state for a kicked ball? Restricted arc. All right, you have that arc in college basketball, high school, none. We do not officiate NFHS basketball with an arc. Now, note, all right, Rule 423-4B, on an airborne shooter, the defender shall have obtained a legal position on the court prior to the opponent leaving the ground. So the idea of you have to be set to take a charge, no, you don't have to be set to take a charge. However, you have to be at that position on the court prior to that airborne shooter leaving the court, so you do have to be set when that player is now airborne shooter. Not an airborne passer, airborne shooter. All right, so officiating tip when it comes to this play, when in doubt, the defender did not get legal guarding position before the player goes airborne. All right, so they have to be there well before that airborne shooter goes in the air. And then coaching tip, coaches, have your defender jump straight up vertically when they're around the basket. Now you're not leaving the judgment up to that official. Did they get to that legal guarding position before they go airborne? To take out all of that judgment, coaches, coach your players to jump straight up, because if they jump straight up vertically, you don't have to worry about this 423-4B rule. If you watch our daily shorts, I think there's 3 plays we go over exactly on this coaching tip. It's safer for the players, it's easier to officiate for the officials, and it actually creates less made shots. So from a strategic standpoint, coaches, have your defenders jump straight up vertically around the basket, and you'll avoid those block calls, and you're going to get some more missed shots and keep the player safe. Goaltending, defensive player shall not touch or tap the basketball while it's on its downward flight. The difference here, it does not matter if the ball touched the backboard or not. All right, so if it touches below the rim backboard and it's still going upwards, in high school, the defense can still block that shot because it's still going upwards. NCAA, that would be goaltending. Once it hits the backboard, you cannot touch the ball in NCAA. Federation, it's all about upward movement versus downward movement. Calling timeout, a head coach or player. All right, so one of the 5 players on the court, and the head coach shall be granted a timeout if recognized by an official anytime when that team is in possession of the ball. All right, so the difference here is anytime in the game, a head coach, as long as their team is in possession of the ball, can call a timeout. 2 notes on that. When a teammate is passing the ball from one teammate to the other teammate, as long as it's not deflected, that team is still in possession of the ball. So if that ball is in the air and the coach yells timeout, we grant that timeout in high school. The other thing is when it's a ball is loose, you have a lot of players, and it's a team or player trying to yell timeout versus held ball. Err on the side of held ball. It's got to be clear possession to award that timeout when requested by a head coach or player. Anytime that team is in possession of the ball. Bonus free throws. This is an NCAA men's difference. This is actually the same in NCAA women's. All right. So NCAA women's and Federation High School, we play 4 quarters, and on that 15 foul, now we have 2 bonus free throws. So that 1-and-1 in high school basketball is now gone. It's going to be a 2 free throw award. At the end of each quarter, we're going to reset the team fouls to 0, but not the extra period. Extra period is just an extension of the 4th quarter, so those team fouls will be exactly the same. So those are the main rule differences. There are quite a few more, but these are the main ones that a general fan and a knowledgeable coach will ask questions on because it's different of what they see on television. Now we're going to get into some plays here. I tried to find as many rule differences as I could while covering some, educational points situations. So here we are, 31 seconds. So this just signifies that, yes, they did bring up the basketball, but it's 35-second shot clock. Not 30, but 35 seconds. So a lot of stuff going on in this possession. We're just going to let it play out. All right, so here comes the first one. Good job showing the hands. All right, we're going to have a drive baseline. We have legal guarding position. We have an arm bar, but the arm bar is not extended. So this is legal. For it to be illegal, would have to be extended arm bar. This is legal. Now the question is, who initiated the contact? Did the offense 13 initiate the contact? Or did the defense initiate the contact? We say this many times in training videos. It is not your judgment that's important. It's the explanation of your judgment that is most important. So the explanation of the judgment here is offense created that contact within 3 feet of the boundary line. Therefore, they are more responsible for that contact. Incidental contact, no foul was called. We have a deflection by the defense and out of bounds. All right. Remember, this year with the new rule change, 4 designated spots. It is not for out of bounds. So wherever that ball was deflected out of bounds. So in this play, it was by the K. So we should be inbounding this ball by that letter K. It is not a 4 designated spot inbound. It is a spot of the violation for inbounds. Shot clock not reset on a deflected pass out of bounds. So correct, no reset here. Officials, if you're not used to this, start training your eyes. Whistle, non-calling official, did the game clock stop? And get that number on the shot clock in case we do have an incorrect reset. We need to know what that shot clock was at, just in case we have an incorrect reset. On this play, we have a 3-point shot goes up. Trail official, great job staying with the shooter here. That is your primary coverage area outside the 3-point arc. Excellent job squaring your shoulders that shooter. Lead official, great job watching these players in the paint jostling for position. Notice all 3 officials' eyes are down on the players. We do not have to officiate the basketball. Good job mechanically here. As we continue it, So the question is, did that ball hit the rim or not? We have 29 seconds on the shot clock. Think about what we just said mechanically. Lead official watching these rebounders. Trail official watching these shooters. We have the center official. All right, you're going to have judgment. Did that ball hit the rim or not? If your judgment was the ball hit the rim, that shot clock reset is good. If you know 100% that ball did not hit the rim, since the offense is not immediately going to score again, stop the game, put the shot clock back at where it was, 29 seconds, and we have now a whistle, an official's timeout whistle in the front court. We are now going to put that ball at one of the 4 designated spots. So we have to have shot clock awareness this year. As a high school basketball official, if you're not working games with shot clock, it's coming. It is coming. So start preparing now. As we play it out, we have the lead coming over as a rotation because they have this post matchup, ball settled below the free throw line, and more players on this side of the court. So correct rotation. Shot goes up. When that shot goes up and that rotation is not complete, lead official correctly goes back. All right, so good job of not completing this rotation. Center official staying with the shooter, not watching the ball. Lead official is going to go back. His eyes are now on these players in the paint. So now this is going to be the trail official. All right, does this ball hit the rim or not? Does hit the rim. All right, now we have a correct reset because it clearly hit the rim. Reset to 35 seconds. All right, we're going to take a look at an example, dribbling the basketball. 5 seconds holding. All right, so we have a foul. Shot clock looks like it's at 11 seconds. And let's take a look at this foul since we're at this training tape. 2 hands on the dribbler before the natural habitual movement to start a shot. Hand check. So 2 hands on the ball handler prior to the natural habitual movement. And that shot clock was reset to a full 35 seconds because anytime we have a foul or violation, it's a full 35-second reset. We're going to take a look at verticality near the basket here. Secondary defender. Good job being straight up there by number 23. And that's the play. That is a huge difference of, I'm not going to say rule difference, but when it comes to this is what is happening in the college game, and the more we could trickle this down into the high school game, the game's going to be safer, the game's going to be cleaner, and believe it or not, coaches, it does result more in missed shots than made shots. But we have a secondary defender coming across. All right, he does get to this spot prior to this player going airborne. All right, so he's legal, whether airborne shooter or not airborne shooter. But it's such a great practice, jumping straight up vertically. So this was great defense. Both players went up. Both players come down clean. So yes, there's contact initiated by the offense against a legal defender that's jumping straight up. So good job of no call on that. Great defense there by that defender. We are going to have an example of a kicked ball. But before we do that, I'm going to rewind it here a little bit. We have a correct reset, 35 seconds. All right. One feedback that we got last year when Class A was only doing the shot clock. The shot clock operator may be starting the shot clock quicker for the visiting team and slower for the home team. So new lead official, when you're running down the court, you want to take a peek at that shot clock that you're running to make sure, number one, it's legally started, and number two, it's not way off. All right, this time the shot clock operator does it perfectly. We have a reset when it hit the rim. When we have possession, they start it. Now, if they start it too quick, as in the ball hits the rim, so they reset it, but they don't hold down the button. So then that shot clock starts running down prior to possession. It could make a big difference in a situation because this team is walking it up. Let's take a look at the shot clock when this player actually advances it past, boom, 26 seconds. Okay, if we're not aware of that shot clock operator and when they actually started that shot clock, if they started it right as that ball hit the rim and didn't wait for possession, we would have a backcourt violation here. So lead officials, be aware of this. Make sure that shot clock operator, if they do make mistakes, let's correct it. If they make those same mistakes against one team over the other, we have to be aware of that. So this is a legal play, but new lead officials, make sure you peek at that shot clock. I believe we're going to have a kicked ball here. All right, so we have a kick ball here. All right, we have 15 seconds on the shot clock. In the state of Nebraska, the state adoption is we're going to reset it to 20. You have to confirm in your state, are we a 35-second reset or are we a 20-second reset? All right, so as we play this out here, once we have the subs coming in, now I'm going through my pre-throw-in routine. All right, 5 white, 5 blue. Coaches aren't looking for their benches to sub anymore. I got 20 seconds on the shot clock. I'm giving a thumbs up to that shot clock operator. Good job. It's an unnormal situation, and they nailed it. This shot clock operator, just in these 2 possessions, has done a phenomenal job. All right, we talk about consistency here. So the foul that's going to be coming here is a push-off by number 23. Boom, push-off to get open. Correctly called foul here. Correctly called foul here. Just mechanically speaking, talk about primary coverage areas. All right, so this trail official is going to have the outside and this matchup. This lead official is going to have this matchup and the inbounder. All right, and then the center official has pretty much the other 50% of the court. So we don't want to pass on fouls, but give the primary coverage official first shot at the foul. So this is one, we should have one whistle on this. All right, the lead official is looking right at it. One whistle, lead official, get it. Good job of getting the push-off team control foul. Even if it was bonus, say this was the 5th foul in the quarter, they would not get a 2 free throw award. All right, now we're going to go down the other end. All right, we have a high post feed. It's going to be right here. All right, does this match up? Is this the same action? We got a push. So here's the importance. We said early in the training tape. We have a 2-hand contact push. If we judge this player could catch this ball, we would have a push. All right. However, the judgment is this ball is so high in the air, whether this player pushed or not pushed, it did not impact the normal basketball movement of what number 23 was going to be able to do. What caused that turnover was the bad pass. It was not the contact by the defense. All right, so that was the judgment. It is important if a coach asks or if a player asks, we have that information of why it was not a foul. The pass caused a turnover and not the contact. Another good example of automatic foul, 2 hands on the dribbler to stop that dribbler. Hand check, 2 hands on the dribbler. We have a full reset coming up here that we should have in place. All right, pre-throw-in, boom. We got a sub, 5 white, 5 blue. Look at the shot clock, correctly reset to the full 35. Here's an example of no shot clock reset on a kickball, 28 seconds. Kicking violation was called. Violation, one of the 4 designated spots. But since we are above 20 seconds, we're going to keep it 28 seconds here. So correct example of no reset of the shot clock in the state of Nebraska. This may be different state to state. Some states might be every violation reset to 35, not in Nebraska. This is a mechanic situation. Most of the times in 3-person, rotations are made because of the lead official. This is an example right here where the center official can initiate this rotation. So we have a trap, center official's coming up. See how that center official's coming up to officiate that play? If this lead recognizes it, this lead can come over and this old trail can become the new C. All right. But since it was passed out right away, there was no rotation needed. But if that trap lasted longer, all right, that's an example of the center official can initiate a rotation. We talked about 7 common fouls earlier. This is not a reaching foul. This is an illegal use of hands foul, because when that defender moved forward, slow motion, he illegally made body contact with the dribbler. So it's not the reach with the right hand, it's the body contact that is the foul. Reach is legal. Body contact while reaching, moving forward into the opponent, illegal, correctly called push displacement. We're going to finish off this training tape with end of the quarter situation. And the terminology we're going to talk about here is magic number. All right, so white has the ball. 35 seconds on the shot clock, 36.4 seconds on the game clock. So our magic number is 1.4 seconds. Another thing we have to be prepared for is 2 horns. We have the shot clock horn that could go off, and we have the end of the quarter horn that could go off. So officials communicate who has last second shot responsibilities. And remember, our whole crew, everybody has clock responsibilities. 1 official shot, 3 officials clock. So our magic number right here is 1.4 seconds. So if we have a shot clock violation on white, we are going to put 1.4 seconds because we have definite knowledge how much time should be on the clock if a violation happens. Now we're going to let this play out here. Five-second count while dribbling, correctly ruled there. 5-second holding. All right, so we have a legal defender, vertical straight up, 2 feet on the ground, facing the opponent. Prior to that shooter going airborne, legal defense right now. But we now have the ball out of bounds, and the ball hits the floor right now. This is when the violation occurs. This is when the whistle happens. Imagine the difference. We need to know as off officials, it is okay. Violation occurs right now with 1.1 or 1.0 seconds on the clock, 1.3 seconds on the clock. If we have definite knowledge, now we have 0.9 when the whistle and signal, we need to put time back on the clock. because when the clock operator stops this clock, 0.2 seconds. Huge rule difference between 0.2, 0.3. Huge strategy difference, 1.0, 0.2, 0.3. All right, so right now, by rule, the only thing the offensive team can do if we don't change that clock is tip it. They cannot control and shoot. They can only tip it in. If it's 0.4 and higher, now we could catch and shoot. All right, so that's a big strategy difference. So if you have definite knowledge how much time should be on that clock when that violation of out of bounds happened, put that time on the clock. We are communicating as a crew. It's got to be a tip. We're communicating. We should be communicating to the players. It has to be a tip. This is not an advantage to offense or defense, as both teams are aware of the situation. Let's play this out. Since we know it has to be a tip, we know when this pass is passed up into the rim, a tap is a try for goal. All right, so we know the defense, if they foul this offensive player, we know the offense is trying to tap it because we've already told them it has to be a tap. A player in the act of shooting, we have white 24 moving forward into the shooter on a tap for goal, correctly ruled foul prior to the expiration of the quarter. All right, so a lot of things to learn from in this sequence. The very first thing, legal guarding the position, 24, jumping straight up vertical, great no call. Officials, at the end of the quarter, we have to have clock awareness. If you have definite knowledge of how much time should be added to the clock, let's get that right. Rule difference, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.2 and 0.3, it has to be a tap for goal. And then since this is a tap for goal, number 24 jumps forward into a shooter. He is in the act of shooting because he is trying to tap it in for a basket. All right, so a lot of rules, a lot of timing, boom, foul, yes, tap, act of shooting, 2 free throws. I would end the game or this quarter on the free throws. Since I have a legal tap and a foul, 0.2 comes off the clock, shoot the 2 free throws, and that will be the end of the quarter. That will be the training tape for today. Those of you who have ideas either for a topic or if you have plays for us for the next training tape, please leave a comment or email psoa@premiersportsofficials.com with the clips or where we could find the game or training videos. If you like this video, please subscribe, please share, please like it, and come visit us again next week. Officials, remember, you're only as good as your last call.